record away.
Well, thank you so much, Janet. I think first off, could you maybe say a little bit about yourself? Where are you? What do you do? What are your hobbies? What interests you? That type of thing.
I'm Janet Lalou, or Lelux, depends which side of the border you're on, Louisiana or Texas. I'm about to be 40 years old. I work at WR Grace, which is a catalyst plant, and I've currently moved to the lab. So I just make sure all of our product is within spec before we sell it to our customers. Hobbies, my wife will tell you I have none. I'm trying to find any. So right now it's really just mowing the grass and not have to hear about the grass being too tall. And we have no kids. We have 2 dogs and a cat. You might see one in the shot at some point, and that's about it. Just living the pandemic dream. Happy to have a job and still working, and just about all I got. Hey.
So you actually have to go into the lab to do your job.
Correct.
And do you have to do anything special? I mean, it's in terms of like kind of personal protection equipment, or is it just you in the lab, or how does that
Not
work?
really. A small crew of 6 people, but we each have our own individual space. Pretty much, we only spare the only space we really share is a lunchroom, and we've narrowed it down where only 2 people can be there at once, 6 feet apart on the opposite side of the table. And other than that, like I said, we're adjoined to the administration building, and half of everybody is working from home. So we pretty much have free reign whenever we need to, in case we need an extra lunchroom or something like that. We can just go wherever. But typically, I just kind of work by myself, and just we're able to keep that enough distance, 10 to 12 feet at all times, just to be able to talk. So I'm fortunate enough to work in a position where I can still have social interaction and see everybody and not put anybody in a compromised position. I do work with mostly soon-to-be retirees. Probably within 3 to 5 years, most of my crew will be gone. So I've just been trying to stay away from them because they all have grandkids, and there's so much unknown right now. It's one of those better safe than sorry. So I just try to keep my distance in a social way, and I'm a very social person. So I just keep telling them I'm feeling so antisocial right now because I'm a hugger, and I can't hug people because I want them to be able to see their grandkids. And you know how it is. There's just so much trial and error right now. Nobody knows what's going on. So just erring on the side of caution right now for the most part.
Yeah, I was planning to go to Home Depot, and my younger son had ordered this. So
No,
this is this is what he wanted me to wear. I haven't
I saw
actually.
for yesterday, so it's all right. I mean, let them know what's out there. I mean, I the 3-layer cloth mask, but it's whatever. I mean, everybody's as long as he's wearing something, kudos to him. I'm all for the mask. So
Yeah, the only thing I think the next step up to that mask is like a spacesuit.
oh, it just need the full suit for sure, hazmat.
Yeah, your own air supply,
Get him a
completely
big.
self-contained.
He can do that. Get him some bottled oxygen too while he's at it. Just walk around masked up. Everybody would leave him alone. He'd get what he wanted. So I mean, it could work out.
Oh, I know. Either that or everybody would come and say, "Hey, what's that? Let me see. Can I touch it?"
But
Could have the.
I acted, so he'd be like, he can hug if he wants to hug. I mean, go for it. I know
I
my dad in the hospital, I wrapped a robe around him and hugged him, mask on. They all think I'm crazy, but it's just do what you gotta do.
I know it's about that emotional support, right? I mean, just letting people
Oh,
know that you're there for them.
well, that's yeah. You know, my dad had a major heart attack in April 24th, and he was by himself at the hospital for 21 days. We sent him with an iPad, and we let the nursing staff, hey, you know, we could go up there every day to drop off items, but we could never see him physically in person. And we kept telling everybody, hey, he's got an iPad in his bag. He has no idea how to use it. You would have to help him. But, you know, if you want to help us see him, it's there. And like I printed off a bunch of photos and dropped off photos for him since nobody could be there. And it wasn't until day 18 that somebody had mercy on him and video called off their cell phone. I mean, it's just, and he was out of it. He thought we were there the whole time because he said he heard voices in the other room, and he kept getting mad because we would never come see him, but he would keep hearing us talking in the background. And it's just, it messed with him mentally because, you know, it's just a weird set of affairs. You're major surgery and, nobody. So, and they're all masked up. You couldn't see their faces. So you're correct. There's a physical thing. I wish everybody would stay safe so you won't have to go through that. But, he's alive. Well, we're good. It is what it is. But yeah, stay safe. Wear a mask. So you can go to the moon. Do what you do.
Exactly. It's good practice too. I mean, you know what?
Yeah, that will be interesting.
So I guess first off, did you know that NASA was planning to put people back on the moon in 2024?
I did not. Was
Now,
it just this year that they finally actually had a launch for the first time in a long time?
that's right. The space shuttle retired in 2011, and since then, the U.S. astronauts have been going to space on Russian spacecraft. Which,
Okay, I was wondering. I thought we still had astronauts going and stuff, but I never figured out the connection. That makes sense. Okay.
yep, we were paying them $85 million per astronaut to send them up.
Good God.
Yeah.
So it's good ourselves.
Yeah, SpaceX is only charging 55, so
Oh,
a deal.
start saving and you'll make it by the time you retire and are in the grave and they can bring you back. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Tom Cruise is planning to take them up on that offer and go up there and film a movie.
He would.
Yeah.
I mean, would. It's Tom Cruise. Why not? He did so let the boy go. She got the money.
They don't have
sure a get some percentage, but
they don't have a story yet for the movie, but they probably don't need one.
I mean, it's really just all your prep work, like astronaut training. You actually taking off, going to the moon. If you hopefully they land, and walking. I mean, there's your movie right there. If you can do it and get back, that's your whole movie.
Exactly. Tom in space.
Exactly. Just do it kind of like a documentary type thing. But hopefully he's got, I don't know.
And you could do the whole thing like, will you pass this physical? Dun dun dun. Will you actually make it to the launch pad?
Do it like the Truman Show. Kinda.
Right.
That could be. There you go.
We should write up a script and send it to him.
I would say tell my mother, but we don't have the budget for these types of things. So don't tell my mother.
Oh.
She'll write it.
You just need paper and a typewriter.
Don't get her started. She's already got enough going on. Just don't do it, Nathan. Don't. You've already talked to her. She's nutty. Don't do it.
It's great. So what do you think about it? Some people are like, hey, that seems like an awful waste, misprioritization. I mean, we have like this COVID-19 thing and global climate change and all this other thing. And other people are like, if humanity is going to survive, we've got to figure out how to make use of space and be able to expand humanity beyond space. And there's a lot of people in between. So where kind of does it fit on your radar?
I guess right now I'd be an in-betweener, but I would be for it because we're already wasting tons of money on stuff that we don't need or doesn't even matter right now. I mean, I'm not even going to try to get political, but there's a lot of money being wasted right now that isn't being used toward COVID-19, but by shutting everything down, the world was able to rejuvenate itself a little bit. Oxygen levels are finally able to get back. Smog went down. There was a lot of good things that happened with it. But if we just revert back to the ways that we were pre-COVID-19, we're going to be back in the same situation. And like some of your other people say, eventually we do need to find a way to have cleaner solutions and whatever. So why not, if you've got the money, start exploring. I mean, everybody, I take space back to the Jetsons because like I said, I'm not very well versed. But as a kid born in the 80s, we were supposed to be at the Jetsons phase of life right now and flying cars and Rosies and everything like that. And we're just falling short. We're still in driven vehicles and all that. So, I mean, if you've got the time and the knowledge and the people that are willing to go explore to help do all that, which would just be, like they used to do back in the day, exploring on their ships. Well, go explore on your spaceships. If you can find a cleaner thing that, could support humanity on it and cultivate it to where you can actually land and have a civilization, why the hell not? I mean, you're not hurting anybody. We're already wasting money on others crap, so might as well spend it on something that might actually go towards something in the future. Because
No, absolutely. But you're not the first one to talk about the Jetsons and how they kind of envisioned us living in the Jetsons age.
right, where are we? Why can't I? Why do I have to get dressed on my own and stuff like that? I mean, where's my little conveyor belt? I mean, we still got the angry bosses yelling at us and everything like that. But I mean, wouldn't it be great to sleep in your car rather than having to drive 30 minutes? I would enjoy it, especially at 5:30 in the morning. It'd be amazing.
Oh, exactly. It's not like probably be safer too. I mean, the computer can doesn't get upset about being late. Doesn't
Mhm.
yeah.
You'd have way less traffic jams and 18-wheelers jackknifing and all kinds of stuff. I'm really hoping Tesla gets to an affordable drive on its own car. One day I would be for that, just to be able to sleep on the way to and from work.
Well, and as cars get produced, the used models get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, right?
Oh
So
yeah, but I'm gonna wait till like 6th generation until all the kinks are worked out. There's no rush. There's no rush. I'll deal with it right now.
I actually had a friend that had a Tesla, and he was giving me a ride from Austin to Houston, and he let me drive it, and it was really neat. And we had it on the
Right?
autopilot. Now there was one part where they were doing road construction, and like the stripes were all messed up, and the car says, "Take control now," and you got
Oh, can you imagine if you were asleep when that happened? Oh Lord!
yeah.
Like I ordered the seats vibrate or something to wake you up. I don't know.
Well, they require you to put a low pressure on the steering wheel to confirm that you're actually up.
Oh, alert and
And
watch.
yeah, and if you don't do that, then the car will pull over on the side of the road and
Oh,
wait until you turn it off and turn it back on.
oh, I did not know that. That's kind of neat. Smart.
Now,
Smart move.
however, my friend found that you could defeat this whole system by just putting a water bottle in the steering wheel.
And then there's that. There's always gonna be for somebody to find a way. I mean, wouldn't be America if you couldn't find a way to override the system. Funny. I'm at my wife's desk. I found this alien all of a sudden.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's mooning people. I don't know if you want to see that on your telecast, but
Maybe she would be interested in an interview sometime.
she might. I'll ask her because she likes it. She was working from home, and then she just went back to work about two weeks ago, I believe. But she's all in the alien thing, so she'd probably be a good one for you. I'll ask and get back to you.
That'd be awesome. I have over 1,600 more days to get through to
Oh
the end of
God,
2024. So
were you bored?
I need everybody's friend. Well, yeah. Actually, I mean, what happened was, so NASA was directed by Vice President Pence to get to the moon in 2024. And they hired like this new associate administrator who was like razor focused on that 2024 date. And he had like a little lapel pin that he was counting down the days to the end of 2024.
Funny.
And somehow in December, like the idea of interviewing everyday people like popped in my head. And so I started that. Now I'm like 220 interviews into it, so I can't stop.
But you got to finish.
I got to finish, I mean, it's just like a life mission at this point.
I'll have to get Jason on you too.
Exactly.
That'd be a fun one. Let me tell you.
It'd be fantastic. I mean, it's been great because it's kind of nudged me to get in contact with people that I've lost contact with.
I was like, it's like your own reunion for any school function ever. Over a year and a half, 2 years. You got a while to go, actually.
Yeah, 4 years.
Oh Lord.
I know.
I get you with Clint too. Maybe Robert. Maybe Dad. If we can get him to figure out how to Zoom.
Exactly, or even better, after this whole COVID-19 thing's over, I could come down and do them in person.
He's an in-person one. Let me just tell you, he's a man of very few words. And be like, well, I don't know. Could be cool. That'd be about what he would say. Or he could have a whole thing about it. You never know with him. Quit. Quit. Ow. Sorry.
No trouble.
Bad. Go play.
I was thinking they would actually probably more people would know about it if they were sending like a dog to the moon than a person. People are like, we've already done that, but
They did enjoy it when the monkey went, so yeah. They should throw him in there. Tell Tom to adopt a dog from a humane society and take it with them. And then therefore people would adopt more too. Who knows? Or a cat. Get them both. Don't bring a cat. It fucks something up. Don't do a cat. No, never mind. You can't trust them.
that's they always look sneaky, like they're up to something. Cats.
They don't always look. They are. Mine's downstairs doing Lord knows what right now. It's his house, not ours. That's what we say.
Oh, exactly.
Oh yeah, it's not our house at all. He runs this show.
But why don't you think we live in an age of the Jetsons? Like, what didn't happen that should have, or what would it take?
I would have to assume that a lot of people are like me and just kind of whatever you have in front of you, that's what you've got. And we're probably missing a lot of free thinkers or innovative people that, you know, how a lot of things just happen. People would sketch a lot and find a way to make it happen back in the day. And nowadays, I really don't know. I'm just thinking there's not a lot of people that are innovative to come up with the crazy stuff we saw. You know, you saw the Jetsons, you're like, ooh. But like, where are the people that thought of the stuff that did the Jetsons? Like, did they take it a step further and go to people and try to get it, you know, done? I really don't know. That are probably like, I don't know. Everybody's all worried about real estate. Nobody really thought about flying cars and stuff.
Now, do you think people were more innovative in earlier times than they are now? Or, I mean, like, how do you think that's changed?
About half and half. I think some people think a lot of stuff now, or maybe it's just, it's not at such a wow factor anymore because you have the internet and you see all kinds of stuff. I mean, you're still going to have the, oh, why didn't I think of that constantly with things that are done? But before the internet and, you know, telephones and all that, well, I mean, that was, nobody had ever seen it before until it actually came to you through a Sears catalog or something crazy like that, or a door-to-door salesman. Now you're just so used to seeing everything all day long, it doesn't really phase you as much as it did way back in, say, the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I mean, go back and watch Mad Men, and you're like, that's the stupidest stuff. But, you know, back then, that was amazing. So I think we're just as a society, we are overblessed with technology. It's ruined a lot of things. It's ruined a lot of face-to-face interactions, communication. Kids nowadays, you know, oh God, I finally made that phrase, kids nowadays. But I'm almost 40, I can get away with it. But, you know, I didn't have Google when I was in college and research papers in high school and stuff. You know, you had to bust out the encyclopedia and write references and do stuff like that. And just people don't work as hard as they used to nowadays because everybody just goes to their phone and Googles. And I don't know, there's just a disconnect. I don't even remember what the original question was. I don't know. I just trailed off.
We were talking about innovation. Oh, that's perfect. But do you think that the internet has made us more innovative or less innovative?
I don't know. I really don't know. I would say probably more because a lot of people are just seeing it. It's kind of like in robots where they would say, Mr. I forgot his name. Well, you know, see a need, fill a need, you know, from robots with Robin Williams and all that. I think nowadays you're able to see a lot more and probably more innovative now because a lot of people know more of the trials and tribulations of, say, people in different countries and stuff like that. Because, you know, they see, you know, back when we were in school, you know, you read about it in books or something, but you never really saw it. So it never really made a connection to you. Now you can see different countries, like we could turn on a water fountain or tap water at just a flip of a finger and they've got to walk miles. Well, you read about it, but you never saw it. So now that you see it, people are being, you know, finding ways to be able to get water right directly to them or energy like I think it's Akon, he's got electric towers everywhere in some place. I mean, a lot of good's being done because of technology, because we're able to see a lot more and see what needs to be done, you know, as a society. So it's good for the most part, but I still think we still just need more imaginative people. We need more Walt Disneys in the world to think of some stuff, you know, Edison's and all that. But I think we're just so conditioned, you know, we're not thinking, oh, how can we make it even better? I mean, they went from a light bulb to an LED light bulb. That's pretty bright. But I mean, what else can you do? You know, I don't know.
But do you think our schooling, the way that we go about school, maybe kind of takes out some of the creativity out of people, or?
I don't have kids, so I don't know how the schooling system works anymore. I couldn't tell you. I think a lot of them are on their, from what I don't really know. I don't know. I know the teachers are having a harder time because people have way less attention spans. I myself don't have the attention span I used to with cell phones and stuff like that. So I think their creativity is getting hindered because they're just on their phone, or they're just trying to do something to impress their friends. They're not really, you know, they need more theater classes and, you know, band and all that. Something creative for these kids to do. A lot of them now, they're just focusing on like the STAR test in Texas, or worried about their ACTs and stuff. You know, it's a lot of testing nowadays, it seems like, to where they can't really be kids anymore. But once again, you know, I have no idea. I know kids are getting crazier and teachers are having a harder time, and I could never teach. That's all I know. Couldn't tell you. Just couldn't do it.
And if it was safe and affordable, would you have an interest in going into space yourself?
Sure, why not? I got nothing opposed to it. I mean, if they could have somebody that just has no hobbies and is just there for a good time. I mean, I'm more I could try to fix something or make it worse by trying to fix it type people, and just laugh the whole time. And that's about all I can do for them. Maybe spark a good idea, but I wouldn't be opposed.
How safe does it have to be before you would consider doing it?
I would have to have all my debts paid first and cleared in case something exploded. My family would be taken care of, and then I wouldn't really care. So I guess not really.
And how far would you go? Would you just go like a suborbital flight, just to go above the Earth's atmosphere, experience some moments of weightlessness, and you know the entire trip is less than an hour? Or would you go into? Would you
No, go for it. Just go. Just, I mean, you could go the floatless thing at NASA, like space camp for a week or something. If you're gonna do it, just do it.
So you would like go to Mars and stay there and live for a few years and come back, or?
I mean, if I had all my stuff paid off, sure, why not? I mean, I don't know if I'd last 2 years, but I'd give it a go. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, was there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to?
No, I don't know nothing about space, my friend. I couldn't tell you. Good luck. I hope you get a go and your kids get a go.
I think, you know, the 2020s are going to be to space what the 1990s were to the internet. So I think in 2030, a lot of things are going to be different.
Well, I remember when we got our first computer, Mom was super stoked at the house, and that was in 95, 94, 95. And I remember AOL discs and dial-up and having to pay for the internet $5 an hour. Well, I remember all that. But I remember she was hardcore about in-home computers. So I agree with you. If it could happen, it's going to be, people are going to get nuts about it.
That's awesome. I'll go ahead and stop the recording then.
No problem.